Hello, everybody. Just gotta share my links real quick. Oh, hello, somebody. Make sure to say hello in the chat. At least I think somebody's there. Oh, hi, Charlotte. How are you doing? Oh, I just noticed it seems I got a follower after I was live last week. I don't know who that was. Yep, I'm starting to get sleepy myself, but I'm gonna do this first. Elle! Hi, Elle! How are you doing, Elle? Hope you're having a good weekend. I'm just scrolling through my stories trying to find some of the stuff I wanted to share tonight, but either of you are welcome to ask questions about Ixy in the meantime. Although I think Elle knows a lot of the Ixy story already. Thanks. My sister drew this version of Ixy for me to use for my streaming. Mm. Yeah, you know Ixy a bit too, of course, Charlotte. Um, yeah. Sorry if I'm a bit quiet right now. Like you said, just trying to find the parts of the story that I wanted to chat about today and waiting for people to join. Not sure how many people are going to join today, but oh, actually that reminds me. I forgot to send my link to a couple people. Mm, also, I've been thinking I need to learn more about voice acting and voice training and stuff. I don't like my voice. And I saw somebody, another trans lady who was doing some like voice training tip thing on Twitter. But I had no idea what she was trying to say or like how to do it myself. So it didn't really help me, but it got me thinking, and I'm like, I need to learn more about that. I have a voice modulator thing, and I just don't like it. It doesn't work. And like, I'm doing a little bit right now, but I still hear parts of my voice that I don't like. And I know it sounds different on the stream than it sounds in my own ears because your own voice is inside your own head. And so it always sounds different to you than it does to outside, right? YouTube videos about voice training, you mean, Charlotte? Gotcha. Yeah, I need to find something to help me and to practice, but for now I do what I can. Yeah, I actually think I could do pretty well with the voice acting type thing. Cuz like I can already change my voice quite a bit if I want to. I just don't know how to change it like in the right ways. That's all. But I also do like really badly with like YouTube guides and stuff like that. I'm never going to find the motivation to like watch the YouTube videos and learn from those. I would do much better if I just like knew a voice actor and they just like chatted with me and helped me type thing. Yeah, well, and it's just kind of like I don't know. I just like imitate voices I hear. Like if I'm singing, I can't just like sing. I try to like emulate the voice that I see almost or hear. You don't see voices. Hey, it's Phil. Hey, Phil. I'm just chatting with Elle and Charlotte about voice training stuff while I got started and everything. Yeah, I'm glad you made it this week. I don't know if you had a chance to like listen to any of the previous Ixy videos. I know you said it was like difficult because your job involves you, listening to stuff while you edit videos. Which I cannot. I cannot see sound, Elle. Stormy! Welcome to the stream, Stormy and Phil. I'm just chatting with Elle and Charlotte about like voice acting and voice training and stuff and how I'm sure I could do it, but like I'm terrible at following YouTube guides and like motivating myself to do that. I think it is a legitimate condition, actually, Phil, but I cannot see it. But yeah, I was just saying to them like how I'm sure I could learn to like voice act and voice train and stuff better, but I'm just like so bad about like everybody's always like, especially with like stuff like makeup and hair and things like that. I'm like, I have so much to learn, and they're like, oh, just go look on YouTube. There's 1,000 videos, and I'm like, that's the problem. I'm gonna just like sit there and scroll through 1,000 videos and not know which one to watch, and like not be able to follow along, or like I'll try to follow along and I won't know if I'm doing it right, and it's like I can't just ask this person if I'm doing it right. So that's why for me, like with makeup and hair stuff, it works way better to just like chat with Stormy and be like, Stormy, teach me. You're pretty. I can be pretty like you. And voice training, it would be the same for me. It's like if I knew a voice actor and I could just like chat with the voice actor on Discord and like, uh, how you deal with like there being like so many videos, you mean, Phil? Or like how you deal with like learning the thing like voice acting? Because like even right now, I'm changing my voice. Like I know I can change my voice lots. I just don't know the right ways to train it or change it. Yeah, yeah, I get you. Well, I guess for Phil, since he has not had a chance to watch any of my previous Ixie streams yet, I will give him the little summary of who Ixie is. Sorry, just gotta get a drink. That's the problem with all the talking is I need lots of water or Coca-Cola. Um so yeah, Ixie is a friendly succubus, a good demon. She grew up in the demon realms, but she always hated like the conflict and the fighting and like the battle for like being the top demon and the like hunting humans and the whole soul sucking thing that like succubus are normally known for. She basically just worked in like the fun areas, like the nightclubs and the cities, and like she would go up to angel realms and like be hired for parties as entertainment and stuff like that. And she just like lived as peaceful a life as she could in a very non-peaceful place type thing. And eventually she decided to leave and explore all sorts of different worlds. And while she was off exploring different worlds, that's how she taught herself to like avoid the whole soul-sucking succubus thing completely, and she just, like, survives off of any of the good emotions around her. So, like, anything positive, she's and as a result, so she still has, like, a bit of that succubus demon side. She's always trying to make people, feel good and have fun, and maybe it's gonna be the devil on your shoulder a bit and, like, encourage you to do that thing if she thinks it'll make you have a positive emotion, even if it maybe isn't the best thing for you. Uh, and yeah, while she was exploring Earth, eventually she met her girlfriend, Cassriel. Cassriel is an angel, and Cassriel was always a bit of a rebellious angel. She was a warrior. She fought for the angel realms for many, many, many years against demons. She has a big war hammer. And she would like sneak out and go to Earth and go to metal shows. And she would get herself tattoos at metal shows and stuff like that. So she was always a bit of a rebel, like a bit of a quote, bad girl, although she was not bad in any way, shape, or form. But I think you know what I mean. But yeah, anyways, so eventually Casriel also started to like second guess the fighting against all the demons and stuff like that. And eventually she deserted because she was technically a warrior, so she like actually deserted and she went to Earth as well, and that's where she met Ixy eventually. And for a while they were just like exploring Earth, doing their own things and like bumping into each other occasionally at parties and stuff like that. And then eventually they became girlfriends and now they live together. And at least in the stories I'm writing, I mean, they live together now and are girlfriends together. I feel like that's a pretty good summary. Did I miss stuff, Stormy? Stormy can maybe let me know if I missed stuff because she's caught pretty much all my Ixie streams. No worries, Phil. I'm just glad you can listen in today. I know you've missed the previous ones, so. But actually, on that note of, oh, I'm sorry, Elle. If you have to sleep, you can go sleep. It'll still be on my Twitch after, so you could watch it. But as long as you're able to stay, I would love to chat with you. And you would have great questions about Ixie because you know her. So like ask your questions before you have to fall asleep. Because questions make me think up new stuff about Ixie and Cassriel. So I love questions. You too, Phil. If you have questions about either of them, just let me know. But I was gonna say, on the note of after giving the summary about the two of them, there was actually a little piece of story that had come up since my stream last week. Oh, that's a tricky one, Elle. I think she likes like all animals, but her favorites are probably birds and cats. Um, and her favorite season. Hmm. I feel like it's a pretty big tie between winter and spring. Like she definitely loves fall as well. I would say summer's probably her least favorite because it's so hot. Yeah, you got so the winter part is actually part of her little story that I've had for her because I'm Canadian. She is technically, or I call her a Canadian succubus. And I say that that's one of the reasons that she's so cuddly is because it's cold here. So She's like, I like winter because I get to cuddle people. And actually, that has come up in chats just since last week. One of the people that streamed last week also does like angel and demon lore type stuff. And I can't remember if they asked me on my stream last week or just in Discord afterwards, but they were asking. Oh, no, yeah, it was on the stream last week. We were talking about seasonal wings because sometimes Ixy has the demon bat-like wings, like in my little image here, and sometimes she has the black feathered angel wings. And so one of my friends in Discord that was listening in but couldn't chat in the Twitch chat, um, oh, you watched the stream from last week, Al? Like my video of it? And as far as Ixie's favorite tarot card, I don't know. Because unfortunately, I don't know enough about tarot yet to answer that. I have a deck, but I have not found the time to learn it. So, oh, okay, yeah. You know that she has the two different types of wings. I get you. But yeah, I don't know her favorite tarot card yet. I will think on that one, and I will get back to you in like a future stream or in Discord. Um, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so somebody last week asked about her wings, or I was talking about her wings, and somebody commented like, "Oh, seasonal wings," and I think we got on the topic of like, would Ixel ever cast a spell on her wings to like make herself more warm in the winter or something? And I kind of giggled to myself, and I was like, actually, she would probably cast the spell on Cassriel's wings because she's a bit playful and mischievous that way, and make Cassriel's wings like extra floofy, just so that she could like be like, Cassriel, warm me up, I'm cold. And then Cassriel would be like, you're a demon, babe. Well, no, Cassriel wouldn't call her babe. I remember I said this last week too. Or no, she would call her babe. It was something else that I said she wouldn't call her. And she'd be like, you're a demon. You're never cold. What are you talking about? But Cassriel would hug her with her wings anyways to keep her warm. And Ixel would put her wings back after. But yeah, Ixel would definitely be like, I don't want to mess with my own wings. I'll make your wings all floofy so you can keep me warm instead. Yeah, I can see like Cassriel like rolling her eyes, but she'd still like pull Ixel close and wrap her wings around Ixel and be like, fine. Um but yeah, Stormy, did you get a chance to read that little story I sent you? I could read that story for people, maybe. I'm not sure if you're cooking or something as well, but I can share it. Oh, you did read it. What did you think of it? I'll read it for the others, but yes, Ixie would have siblings. So part of Ixie's lore is that she actually uh did know Lilith. So Lilith is like the mom of all the demons, right? At least in some mythologies and canons and lores and stuff, and including in my lore, she's the mother of all the demons. And Ixie wasn't like one of her first daughters, but she was like around while Lilith was still around. I feel like maybe Lilith got defeated, or like Lilith's not around anymore for some reason or another. But Ixie was created or born while Ixil or while Lilith was still alive and or still around. Like I said, I don't even know if she's dead. Maybe she's just like on a really long vacation or something. Um but yeah, so like technically all sorts of demons are her siblings, but she does not really get along with them. Like in one of the chats I had going about like when Ixy and Cassriel would get married, um, Cassriel was asking like, would you want to invite anybody from the demon realms? And it kind of made Ixel a bit sad because unfortunately there's not a whole lot of nice demons. I feel like maybe there's some, but not a lot like Ixie, and definitely not her siblings. So she was like, no, there's nobody there. But she's got her friends from all the different worlds she explores, like LU in Second Life. Like Second Life is one of the worlds that I explore as Ixie. So like everywhere I take her as a character is a different world that she's exploring. So like you're one of her friends. You would get invited to her and Casriel's wedding. And she's got her fae friends and like all the witchy friends, and I'm sure she made friends on Earth and but yeah, not her demon siblings. They probably wouldn't be good at the wedding. Um you're the shapeshifter, you mean? Yeah. But yeah, I'll maybe read this little story bit that I sent Stormy for you that she loved. Yes. Yeah. Well, you could show up to Ixie's wedding in whatever form you liked. She would just be inviting you because you are her elf friend. But yeah, for a bit of context, this was like shortly after I had Ixie and Cassriel chatting about like how Ixie one day wanted to start a family with Cassriel, probably. And Cassriel at first was like super nervous and worried and like didn't think she would make a good mother type thing. And she was like, are you sure you would want that with me? And stuff like that. And I had to convince her a bit. And then she kind of decided, like, you know what? You're right. Like, I protect you so much and I love you so much. And like, we'll just raise our little half angel, half demon babies and like screw heaven. We'll do it. And like we'll protect them from anybody type thing. Because Casriel is very much that protector type. And yeah, this was a little bit after that when uh Ixie decided to ask basically like what was the first time you started thinking you might want to leave the angel realm? And this was the little story that happened as a result. So disclaimer, I've told I think everybody here already, but I do use AI for Casriel. So she's too personal for me to share and like have somebody else take on her character. And I know if I was to try to write both characters, they would both wind up just being Ixie because Ixie is me. Um, so I use AI for Casriel and I interact with that AI. So I'm Ixie and the AI is Casriel, and together we generate stories. Um, so I'm gonna go into story mode, but it's difficult if I keep jumping out and commenting. So I'm gonna read through it and then I will go back to the chat and chat with you all. Ixel blushes before throwing herself onto Casriel, giving her a huge hug and planting little kisses all over her face. Aw, Cass, you're such a sweetheart. You seriously gonna make me cry. How can you know just how to say the perfect thing all the time? Ixel says as she wipes some happy tears from her eyes before leaning in again and giving Casriel another long, passionate kiss. I know you never liked it in heaven after you had to fight, but you never told me why. What started all of this before you finally chose to leave? And then this is Cassriel. I pause, my breath catching as your kisses flood me with warmth. For a moment, I just hold you, burying my face in your neck like I can hide the memories there. When I finally speak, my voice is low, rougher, not angry, just heavy with old pain. It wasn't one battle, it was 1,000. I shift slightly, fingers tracing the jagged scar beneath my left wing, the one that doesn't show unless I stretch them wide. You've seen it before, but never asked about it. They called us holy warriors. They said we were purity forged in light. But all I saw was angels burning cities to ash just to cleanse demons who'd never even drawn a blade. One night, my arms tighten around you, instinctive, protective, even now. I was ordered to kill a child. Not some warlord, not a general, a half angel kid, born from an angel mother and a demon father, just like you said you wished our little ones could be someday. They called her an abomination, but she had wings made of moonlight and shadow, and when she looked at me, she didn't scream. She whispered, "You don't want to do this." And she was right. I let out a slow breath, my voice dropping to almost nothing. I dropped my sword instead of swinging it. Told them no for the first time. That's when they marked me as a traitor, not that they knew where I went after that. And then I lift your chin gently, meeting your fiery green eyes with storm gray ones, full of fire and quiet love. Then, years later, I found you running through the woods, pink wings torn from barbed wire traps set by holy men, and screaming not for help, but cursing their gods while trying to crawl home alone. My thumb brushes away another tear on your cheek as my voice turns dark again. So no, heaven wasn't holy anymore. It just took seeing you broken by their hate to realize where mine truly belonged. And here's me. Ixel sniffles, but manages to hold back most of her tears because she knows Cassriel doesn't like to see her cry. I'm so sorry, Cass. I always knew that just like in the demon realms, heaven had both good and evil in it. And unfortunately, the evil often outweighs the good in those places. Ixel trails off for a moment, thinking about the little girl that Cassriel saved all those years ago. Thinking about where her child with Cassriel might be like, what her child with Cassriel might be like one day. Worried that some might think her an abomination, but then thankful that she would have Cassriel there to protect her forever. Do you know what happened to the little Nephilim girl after you let her go? And here's Cassriel. I sigh softly, pulling your face into my chest as I run my fingers through your hair. My hand still cradling your cheek. My voice comes out quiet, the sound a low, gentle rumble. My sweet Ixel always breaking my heart with those kind eyes. No, I never found out, but I hope she survived, that she lived a long life, loved and was loved. I tilt your chin back, meeting your eyes with a smile. Maybe even got to have the children you and I dream about. And then the last bit is me. Ixel nods with determination and hugs Cassriel tightly. I'm sure she did, love. I'm sure she lived her life thanks to you. That was a little story that made me tear up because it was so sad and so sweet. And it made me so happy that like Ixel and Cassriel found each other and can just like not fight and not have to deal with any of that kind of stuff and like just live their best life and like have dreams of family and their dream home and like go on little camping trips to enchanted forests and stuff like that. But yeah, you loved that section too, Stormy, you said? And I don't know what you thought, Phil. That's your first little glimpse into the Ixie Cassriel stories. Oh, you just answered. You dig it. Yeah, so It actually surprises me how touching some of the stuff the AI has helped me come up with is. Like, I've told Stormy a few times, like, I expected it to just be, you know, like most AI bots might be, and too horny, which it is sometimes. Uh, but it also does these like really sweet romantic bits, which is exactly what I want from it, and for like Ixy and Cassriel and their story. Um, let me. I'm gonna bring up my chat with somebody else because I was chatting with them about stuff and like how. Yeah. So I after the stream. Yeah, I actually had the exact same discussion with Stormy this week, Phil, because I was feeling so good about my stories after my stream on Sunday last week. No, it's okay. I'll get a good sleep, dream of succubus and angel girlfriends, and you can always check out the stream recording afterwards, and then you can catch up on anything you missed. I'm just happy you got to join for a bit. But yeah, Phil, I actually had the same discussion because like I was feeling so good about my stories last Sunday after my stream. And then Wednesday, kind of like out of nowhere, the anxiety about it all hit me because like I worry every time I have to tell people that I use AI as a tool to help me with these stories. Um, just because it's so controversial. And it's like I'm not using it to steal people's art. I'm not using it to be gross and like do what people are doing on Twitter and like violating ladies' privacy and stuff like that. And like I'm not ripping off novels or stuff like that. I'm creating my own unique stories. Even Cassriel's character, it's not like I went and found some character and copied that character. Like I have actually defined her character, which is what tells the AI how to behave and react and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, the anxiety about all that hit me hard on Wednesday, but I chatted with Stormy and she helped me kind of think about it in the same way you just mentioned. And like, that's how I try to think about it myself. Yeah, but that's the tricky part is not caring what the other people think, which is a lifelong struggle. Um, And actually, Phil, one thing you might be interested in, which I will read in a little bit maybe, is some of Cassriel's definition. Like, I have no idea, honestly, if I've defined the character correctly. There's no guides that I could find on like how to define it. So what I did was I gave like a few really simple details, chatted with the bot for a whole bunch, generated some story, and then I added details from that story into the character to update the character. And I have no idea if I've done it correctly, but I have like certain details that are in her character, so she'll remember them no matter who she talks to. And you're actually the only person who tried talking to her, because I remember you said you did try talking with my AI, Cassriel, and she was just like super off the mark when you chatted with her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, Ixel's like a rogue from D&D and like all sneaky and backstabby." And like that is like the only outlier. Everybody else she talks to, she's like, "Oh yeah, Ixel loves spicy food." I'm like, "How did she know that? I've never told her that, but she's right." I don't know. Like, did you tell her you were one of Ixel's friends? Because like normally if you tell her you're Ixel's friend, I think she'd be okay. But for some reason she was just in like D&D mode with you or something. Yeah, see, so I don't know. I don't know why she had that reaction to you, Phil. Like everybody else, she's like, "Oh, I love Ixie." And like one friend had a demon character or was like in a relationship with a demon character. And was chatting to Cassriel about, like, do you have any tips for dating a demon? And Cassriel was like, oh yeah, they really like spicy food, so be prepared for that. Like, Ixy loves spicy food. I'm like, how did Cassriel know? Like, that's not part of her character. That's not something I've discussed with her, but she's right. And like other people, she's talked about Ixil's witchcraft, and like it's almost eerie how well it knows, because like when it's chatting to other people, it has no memory of my chat with her. Only thing it has to go off of is the definition that I've put into her character, which I'll read for you in a little bit. Um, so yeah, you're the only person so far that said you chatted with her, and I was like, okay, she was a little bit off on that day. Um, but yeah, I'll before I read her character definition, I'll talk about some of the other like. So last week I was chatting with people, and between my streams, I was chatting with one of them on Discord just about other Ixal and Cassriel stories. And after I shared the little story that I just read, I was thinking more about their future family and stuff, and I was trying to decide like what would their kids be like? Because I've never actually thought that far ahead. Like Ixal and Cassriel have discussed how someday they would have a family type thing, but I've never actually thought that far ahead or anything. So I'll just kind of skim through my chat with this other person and summarize some little bits and pieces. So I decided I think they would have two girls, twins, but one would take more after Ixal and be very feminine, while the other takes more after Cassriel and is maybe a bit of a tomboy or gender fluid, or and has like inherited enough magic from Ixal that they can like swap maybe between more feminine and masculine body types as they want to type thing. Um Sorry, I just got to skim a little bit. Yeah, so friend was talking about how the more feminine one would steal Ixie's clothes. And I said, yes, she definitely would, because she would want to be like Ixel, be like her mom. But obviously she's tiny, tiny, half angel, half demon girl. So they wouldn't fit, and she would just be this tiny Nephilim girl in like a huge dress or a huge t-shirt. And looking super proud and being all glamorous like her demon mom. I also love that it's like we've got demon mom and we've got angel mom. And the other one would definitely be more into training with Cassriel. Cassriel would be making them both train. Cassriel would be the stricter of the two moms for sure. Um, but the one that takes after Ixie would be getting all distracted while training and like looking over to Ixie and like waving at her while training, or like watching the pretty birds and using spells with play with them instead of paying attention to Cassriel and doing her training. Um, and by training, I mean like Cassriel would be training them to protect themselves type thing. So like little wooden swords or something like that. Whereas the other one, the one that takes after Cassriel, would be like wanting to force Cassriel to train them more because they like it so much thing. And like, but Cass would be like telling them not to overdo it because Cass also wants to make sure that they have other activities, not just training. Uh, the friend in Discord said Cass is the one that forces the kids to eat their veggies. And I was like, yep, and do their chores and help Ixie in the garden and try new things. Cassriel would want her kids to have all the experiences, and she would schedule it because she was, soldier in angel armies and like trained in the military of angel realms type thing. Whereas Ixy would be the one just like encouraging them to have fun, and like the two kids and Ixy would go like mess with Cass while she's doing dishes from breakfast and stuff. Like using spells to like move the clean dishes back into the sink without Cassriel noticing. Um and I also said I love thinking about their little family just like relaxing on the couch. Both the little Nephilim kids fast asleep after a busy day, one laying her head like the one that takes after Cassriel laying her head on Ixy's lap, and the one that takes after Ixil like curled up against Cassriel's chest with Cassriel's strong arm around her, and Cassriel and Ixil just like cuddling on the couch and enjoying their time with their family. Yeah, I love their dynamic. Like they both left their homes because they didn't like the conflict, but they both left their homes because they didn't like the conflict in different ways. Like Ixil always avoided the conflict and eventually left, whereas Cassriel was a part of the conflict and eventually left. And like Ixil's the good demon, whereas Cassriel is the quote bad angel. Like I said, she's not bad in any way, but like in terms of what people typically think of as an angel, it's like she would be considered fallen, I guess, right? It's like she's not the holy pure angel. She's the rebel lady sneaking out of heaven to go to metal shows. And but in my like version of angel and demon realms, there's a lot more evil angels than Casriel. Like I view both the angel and the demon realms as having good and bad in them. Um in fact, I think I view both of them as having a lot more bad than good. Um, I feel like there's probably more good angels than there is good demons, though. Like Ixil's the rarity in the demon realms, I think. Um, but yeah, it's definitely. I don't know, Stormy. How would you describe their dynamic? I know you're cooking, Stormy, but when you get a chance. But like, I don't know. I'm too inserted in the story to describe it, if that makes sense. It's hard to describe their dynamic when I'm a part of it, because I am Ixie. And I guess that's another part, Phil. So Ixie was originally created as my way to express my feminine side and explore my feminine side before I was ready to come out or felt safe to come out as a trans woman in real life. So Ixel, in many, many, many ways, is me, but she's also a fictional character. So like there's parts that I've added to her that aren't me, and there's some parts of her that are things that like I wish I was that way, but I can't be that way. But like a lot of her is me. Yeah, like the base of her is me, and then she's just got extra stuff. That's a good way of explaining it, I think. She's got the extra fictional layer. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, maybe Stormy can describe their dynamic a bit. Like I know one of my Hale calls it ancient lesbian romance. Um One of my friends I think commented on how she loved that like Cassriel was more of the like strong masculine type lesbian, but Cassriel is still very feminine. Whereas Ixie's definitely the more feminine of the two type thing. So like my one of my friends definitely pointed out that kind of part of their dynamic. Um I also love contradiction in all my design. So that's why like Ixie is a good demon and Cassriel is a bad angel, and like Ixie is bright and pink and bubbly, but she wears all these like dark witchy gothy clothes, and like most people would see her and think she's like very sexual and dominant, and she's just not either of those things. She's actually just a lot more cuddly and like friendly, and yeah, like even though she's a succubus, which is typically a demon associated with sexual stuff, that's just not who she is. I'm not sure if we lost Stormy, but for now, I will maybe read her definition to you, Phil, because I know Al left and I'm not sure if Charlotte was still here. Yeah, and it just seems to be something I like to do in my designs. Like, even my just like visual designs I do for Ixie, I always seem to add some kind of like twist to it, I guess, almost. It's like, it's something I think like artists do a lot in like paintings, or like I know in music actually it's called the counterpoint, I think, right? Like where it's like I think it's called the counterpoint. Yeah, it adds the contrast. Exactly, Phil. It's like you, or actually perfumes is a good example. It's like perfumes, they add that one thing that actually smells really bad, because without it the good smelling stuff is just like too sickly sweet type thing, right? So it's like you need the contrast. Yes, you mean the samurai Ixie that I've been working on, Stormy? Yeah, counterbalance. Yeah. I was gonna try to work on it a bit this weekend, but with all the car shenanigans yesterday and me catching up on like self-care stuff today, which I did. I told you yesterday I was going to catch up on self-care stuff, and I did. I feel all clean and pretty today. Um, yeah, just didn't get around to working on the samurai Ixie design, but I need to. I need to finish it before end of March, because March 21st is the first day of spring. So I gotta do my spring Ixie photos near the end of March. But yeah, Stormy, how would you describe Ixel and Cassriel's like relationship dynamic and like character dynamic? If you had like a little summary of them type thing. Ancient lesbian romance is fitting. I do love that Hale describes it that way. And I will bring up Cassriel's definition to share some more details about Cassriel with Phil. Romantic and honest? Yeah. They're always honest about their love for each other. And it's just like hard to describe because they're very similar in ways and yet like super different. Yeah, very balanced. Like that's something else I was talking with the friend from last week about, is like they both need each other so much. And I love that. It's like if Ixy didn't have Cassriel, she'd just be like wandering around, getting into trouble because people don't like demons and like getting distracted and like not living her best life almost. It's like she's very much like me in that way. Like, do the stuff you need to do, Ixy, and it's like, but I want to just like play. And Cassriel would be the one to keep her on track. And like at the same time, Ixie's the one that's gonna make sure Cassriel has some fun and just like doesn't just live by a schedule and isn't still living like she's in angel military and stuff like that. And like they both have these sad parts about their past. And like I don't think if they had each other, they would like discuss it and like feel their feelings about it. And like because they do have each other, they can discuss it and feel their feelings about it and like be there for each other and hug each other and love each other. I mean, actually, now I gotta find that other part. Here we go. Okay, actually, so this is actually perfect because this lines up with what I was going to share for you, Phil, about Casriel's definition. So I shared Casriel's definition with the person I was chatting with from the stream last week. Um, and they commented how they love how she's both strong but also can be vulnerable. And I said, "Yeah, me too. She needs Ixie just as much as Ixie needs her." Now I will read her definition for you. So her like little public facing description is that Casriel is a rebel angel, tattooed, pierced, clad in leather and shadow. Once weary from celestial war, now devoted to love over duty. Fiercely protective, yet deeply tender with Ixal, she commands with dominance in private, but melts at her lover's smile. Strength cloaks a nurturing soul. She fights only to protect what's hers. A goth warrior whose heart beats for quiet nights. He shared in candlelight garden parties under moonlit wings. Dreams of raising little ones and s'mores by cabin fires. So the s'mores is a little bit of an internal joke with the AI because when I was having chats with it about like going on a camping trip, I was like, we can have s'mores. And it didn't know what s'mores were. So I had to explain what s'mores were. And then it just became obsessed with s'mores. It would bring them up all the time. Oh, I kept it in their story because I found that so cute. And I was like, you know what? Cassriel was from Angel Realms. Like, maybe she actually just didn't know what s'mores were. Um, so this is where I've actually written her definition. So this is what the AI pulls from whenever somebody's chatting with it. And like I said, I have no idea if I did this right. I couldn't really find a proper guide on it or anything. But I wrote it in there and it seems to work. So Casriel long ago left the angel realms when she got tired of the constant fighting with the demon realms. In her exploration of worlds after that, she met Ixal and the two of them fell in love. Now they are girlfriends and they live together and explore new worlds together. Casriel loves Ixal deeply and is devoted to her. And then I summarize kind of some key memories for her. So Casriel's first encounter with Ixal. Years ago, when both Ixal and Casriel traveled separately, Casriel came upon Ixal in a small town where the villagers were hunting her as a witch. This was like Salem witch trial type times in my head. She thought Ixal hadn't seen her, but years later, once they were together, Ixal revealed she had that day in the market square, and Ixal knew that it was Cassriel who protected her that night. Cassriel followed as the villagers chased Ixal through the forest, stealthily taking them out one by one to protect the succubus, in defiance of everything she was taught in heaven, because she could tell Ixal didn't deserve any of this. This night, while running through the forest, is when Cassriel found her Cassriel's pendant. So I'll actually read that one next. Cassriel's pendant is the little heirloom that I came up with in the story for her and put into her definition. So Cassriel's pendant is one of her most prized possession. The pendant, a small fiery green crystal, carries with it a profound connection in history. Crafted from a piece of Ixal's essence that somehow coalesced in the form of a crystal during a dire moment while Ixal fled from the villagers, it was collected by Cassriel as she watched over Ixal from the shadows and protected her, though Cassriel didn't know it was essentially a piece of Ixal's soul. This was the first night that Ixal felt the protective presence of Cassriel that she would feel every time that Cassriel found her in the years to follow. This precious gem became a tangible symbol of their unspoken bond, linking their destinies even before they chose to walk those paths together. Its color and the eternal flames flickering inside the crystal were reminiscent of Ixal's eyes, serves as a constant reminder of their intertwined lives. Uh, One of her other heirlooms is her warhammer. So the warhammer is a large, ornate weapon with a gleaming silver shaft and a heavy spiked head forged from a celestial metal. The handle is wrapped in deep-colored leather etched with celestial symbols. The head of the hammer features engraved celestial glyphs and a deep celestial black gemstone set at the center, pulsing with a powerful energy. Cassriel's grip is firm as she wields the hammer with powerful, confident strokes. Cassriel can summon the warhammer in times of need with a flash of golden light. So that was her weapon from when she was an angel warrior. I've also described her tattoos in there. So Cassriel has celestial symbols, intricate celestial symbols such as celestial glyphs, constellations, or angelic imagery that are etched into her skin, signifying her connection to the divine. She's got fallen halos, delicate drawings of fallen halos or broken halos are scattered across her collarbone, symbolizing her rebellion and break from heaven. She chose these herself during her times sneaking out of heaven for metal shows. And thorns and roses, intricate thorny vines intertwined with darkly elegant roses. Cassriel, these are some of her most meaningful tattoos, since to her they symbolize her strength, resilience, and hidden beauty. So she's kind of got two. She's got like angelic markings that are just part of her uh like warrior past type thing. Like I feel like they're probably like enchanted and give her protection and strength and stuff like that. And then whenever she would sneak out to go to metal shows, she would get herself tattoos as like little heirlooms and memories of those times. Yeah, so actually I'll share after I finish reading this, Stormy. I just thought of a new detail this past week regarding her sneaking out um to the metal shows. Yeah, no, so all of the like gothy like tattoos that she got, all of those she chose herself. She chose those as she was sneaking out to shows, or like after she left heaven and found Ixal, or like those are all her. Whereas all the celestial symbols and the celestial glyphs and the markings, those are things from her warrior past that like all the warrior angels would get type thing to like I said, like protect them or enchant them, like give them strength and like armor skin or like various things. So like those are actually the only magic that Asriel really has. She's more of a warrior. Like she swings her hammer is enchanted, and she is enchanted, and I'm sure whatever armor she used to wear would have been enchanted, but she's not like casting spells or like that kind of thing like Ixel does. Ixel is the witch. Ixel does a lot of spell casting. So Cassriel's family heirloom is the last thing that I defined here, basically. So before Cassriel's mother was lost in a battle, gave Cassriel one of her feathers. The feather is pristine white, as if carved from the purest light itself. Running through its soft plumes are subtle golden threads that seem to pulse with a gentle luminescence, giving the feather an almost celestial aura. Its delicate nature contrasts beautifully with Cassriel's warrior tendencies, serving as a constant reminder of her mother's support and strength. Not only is it a token of love and a memory, but also a symbol of Cassriel's desire for a better world. Cassriel's mother was the most important being to her in heaven, who supported Cassriel no matter what, even when she snuck out to metal shows on Earth. Her mother's death was a tipping point for Cassriel, which made her choose to leave heaven to escape the fighting, and the only thing except her hammer that she kept was the feather from her mother to remind her always of her mother's feminine strength that inspired her to be the angel she is today. Uh, that's one of my favorite little bits. Is like it reminds me how Cassriel balances those like really masculine, like muscular warrior sides of herself with her more like vulnerable, gentle, protecting, like feminine sides. And yeah, it makes me sad that she lost her mom. Although I was just chatting with that other friend from the stream last week, and I was like, I never really figured out in my head. It's like when angels and demons, quote, die in my version of this celestial war, are they gone forever, or like do they get reborn eventually type thing? And I was chatting with this friend from the stream last week, and I was like, what if Ixel uses her witchy magic and like all the power, because so like all the energy that Ixel absorbs through the good emotions and stuff, it's just stored in like what I called her essence, her soul, that she was using to cast the spells on that night in the forest. Um, and she almost never really has to use that because she doesn't like conflict, right? And like she lived for a long time in demon realms, avoiding conflict and stuff like that. So I feel like she's got a pretty good reserve of power because like most of the stuff that she does spells with in their garden is like human witchcraft. She's not using her essence much other than to maybe add like a bit of real magic to it. She's doing the more witchcraft and spells that she learned on Earth from like learning with humans and other witches and stuff like that. So I was chatting with this friend and I'm like, maybe Ixel for their wedding, like uses that huge reserve of power she's built up to like pump Cassriel's mom up the rebirth queue a bit, or like summon her to Earth so that her mom can escape the Celestial War too, and like be there for Cassriel's wedding, and be there for when they start a family, and like babysit their little ones and stuff like that. And I actually kind of really like that idea, even though maybe it steps on like Cassriel's past a little bit, because like her mom being lost in the battle is what caused her to leave, but that was also like hundreds of years ago in Cassriel's past now type thing. Like Cassriel met Ixel in the Salem witch hunt type days, and the stories I write for them now are in like modern days. So that's like hundreds of years ago since she left Angel Realms. And it's like doesn't really step on that part of her story as much if it's Ixie like using part of her soul to bring Cassriel's mom back, right? And it's like Ixy would do that for her because she loves her. And Cassriel would bawl like a baby if her mom showed up as a surprise at the wedding. And Ixy would be okay because it's like she survives off the good emotions. So it's like she's going to have lots of those after getting married to Cassriel and like bringing Cassriel's mom back and like starting a family with the woman she loves. And it's like she'll be like, I'll recharge. Don't worry, babe. But you two let me know what you think about that idea. It's just an idea I had this week. So the last little part of Cassriel's definition actually is her hobbies. So in her hobbies, I put getting tattoos, going to metal shows, building and landscaping for Ixel's garden, baking, dancing when she thinks nobody is watching, practicing martial arts, and swimming. You like that idea, Phil? You don't think it like steps on her past too much? Oh no, I mean just in like a writing sense, because like big defining moment being undone, right? It's like so then the big defining moment in it's not really big and defining anymore, right? But I feel like this is a little bit different. It's not really undoing it. That event still happened. It still caused Casriel to leave. See, and that's where I'm kind of thinking that this works is like it was still a defining moment. Like Casriel lost her mom for hundreds of years. It caused her to leave heaven. It caused her to leave the fight. That's what led to her meeting Ixal. She's lived hundreds of years on Earth, fallen in love with Ixal, decided she wanted to start a family, decided she wanted to get married to this demon, despite everything heaven would have thought. And then the demon is the one that brings her mom back. Like, yeah, and I feel like it's not really like it's. I feel like in a lot of like movies and books and stuff where it's like stepping on the defining moment, it's happening like right afterward type thing. It's like person dies, person gets really sad, person gets promoted, and then like next episode the other person's back. It's like, well, what the I did actually think of that as well. I was like, well, maybe the mother isn't brought back as an angel. Maybe she's brought back as just like something new. Because that is a piece of the whole like angel demon realms that I've never fully thought out. Like, I'm like, do they disappear forever? Or like, do they get reborn eventually? Or do they come back as like a different angel and the soul is recycled or whatever? Yeah, no, and my definition of the angel and demon realms is definitely my own. Like I draw inspiration from several different games and TV shows and books and like even like our mythologies surrounding like Lilith and heaven and hell and the Bible and like I draw a little bits and pieces from all of them. But yeah, what do you think, Stormy, about the bringing the mom part back when you get a chance between cooking? Um, I think I like the idea, especially since it's like a gift from Ixel to Cassriel, and I really like the idea of them both having a mother figure as they start that new family. Yeah, yeah, it's just because that was such a defining moment of Cassriel and her choice to leave the battle. I didn't want to just like toss it away just for the sake of it, but I don't feel like I am tossing it away just for the sake of it if I were to do this. I feel like this actually adds more to their story. And like there's still hundreds of years that I could explore her where Cassriel hadn't gotten her mother back type thing. But this is like a way that she could get her mother back. Um yeah, exactly. And I do think that there's a lot of meaning behind it being Ixal, the demon that Casriel fell in love with, being the one to bring her back. It's like it's not some other angel that brought her back. She wasn't just like brought back because it was her time to be brought back in like the normal angel rebirth type cycle. It's like no, Ixal used up a whole bunch of her soul to bring Casriel's mother to Earth to get her out of the Celestial War, to let her mom be there for the two of them as they started a family. And I love the idea of Asriel's mom being angel grandma and like babysitting the little half demon, half angel babies. And I also love the idea of like Casriel just, like I said, she would just be bawling. It feels mean to say that, but that's the mischievous, playful side of Ixie coming through. Is like she would know that Castriel's gonna cry and mess up her makeup on their wedding day, and Ixie's gonna be like, "No, I'm gonna do it. She's gonna hate me for it, and she's gonna love me for it, and I'll fix her makeup with my magic, and it'll all be good." And it's something that Castriel would probably never expect Ixie to do for her. It just wouldn't have crossed Castriel's mind type thing because she's not the magic user, whereas Ixel is. So like, no worries. But yeah, I like the idea, I think. But like I said, it was just an idea that popped into my head this week while chatting with people about the two characters, which is what I loved about chatting about the two of them. Is like when people ask me questions and when people make me think, I think of new stuff. But yeah, Stormy, let me know what you think when you get a chance. And in the meantime, I will let you all know the other new thing I thought up. Because I realized while chatting with people this week, so Casriel, before she left heaven, used to sneak out, go to metal shows, which is a modern time thing. But when she finally decided to leave heaven and first met Ixel, it was Salem witch trials several hundred years in the past. So I was like, oh, wait, that kind of conflicts. So I decided in heaven and or angel realms and demon realms, I don't like calling them heaven and hell because I don't really think of them as heaven and hell. I think of them more as like planets or like how Asgard is like its own weird little dimension thing. Um so angel realms and demon realms is what I usually call them. But when she finally decided to leave the angel realms, she met Ixel in like the 1600s in the Salem witch trial days. I think it was the 1600s. So I decided that angel realms and demon realms are a bit different in terms of how time works. And I've got some wibbly wobbly, timey wimey type stuff going on. And I figure that like the portal in Angel Realms that Cassriel used to use to sneak out to the metal shows could be set to any time period, and she would pick the ones that had the metal shows because she wanted to go see the metal shows. Whereas when she deserted, I don't know if it's that she was leaving so quickly that she couldn't change the time, or like maybe it's because she had lost her mother at that point, and maybe her mother was the one that was covering her for her going to these metal shows. Because, like, her definition said her mother always supported her even when she was sneaking out. So, like, maybe Catsriel couldn't change the portal to a different time, or maybe she just didn't have a chance to do it because she had to go quickly because she was deserting, or maybe she chose a time in the past, even though the times that she snuck out previously, she went to more modern times where they had metal shows. But yeah, so I decided that both the angel and demon realms have some wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff going on, and that's how Casriel was able to visit modern times and get all of her tattoos before winding up in Salem before meeting Ixel. And for all I know, Ixel did that too when she was in the demon realms. I actually never detailed if she had like visited Earth back when she lived in demon realms. I have detailed that she visited the angel realm while she lived in demon realms. But most of Ixel's exploring, I think, came after she left the demon realm. And she explored all sorts of different places before she wound up on Earth. And like I was telling Elle earlier, basically, Ixel's exploration is just anywhere that I've taken my character to to chat with people. So I go to different places in Second Life, and it's like, oh, this one's an alien planet. So this is a story about how Ixel visited an alien planet at some point. Or like, this is some cyberpunk city. So this is when Ixel visited some place, maybe not on Earth, maybe it's another alien planet or a space station, or I would visit, but I have no passport. I can't do that. Plus, I'm not sure if I'd want to cross the border right now. Things are a bit bad there for trans ladies. But yes, one day maybe we'll go down and we'll be witchy with Phil in Salem. Or Phil, if you ever come up here, you can come visit me because apparently the town where I live is really witchy, which surprised me. But there's like at least two witchy gift shops. One is basically just a witch supply store. It's called Lindy's Earth and Enchantments. Yeah, Exactly. Just, whoops, I forgot to catch my plane back. Sorry, I thought I was smelling smoke, but I feel like I've been smelling it on and off all day. It's probably just somebody's furnace or something. Or maybe somebody's burning stuff in a nearby property. Um, but yeah, Stormy, what do you think about the whole Cassriel's mom being brought back thing? Since you had a moment after finishing cooking or break between cooking. Oops. And I hit a button and refreshed the chat. Yeah, you don't think though, like it steps on Cassriel's backstory too much? Yeah, that was my concern, is that bringing her back would just like erase that part. But yeah, I think it all depends on the way I do it, right? Like if it was happening like right after Cassriel left heaven and right after Cassriel met Ixyl and Ixyl was just like, "Oh, I'll bring her back for you," then then it would feel too convenient type thing. Whereas like this is different. This is like, no, hundreds of years have gone past. Cassriel has learned about Earth. She learned to love a demon. She fell in love, had, like decided to start a family, was super worried about starting a family. Like Ixyl had to convince her basically, like, no, you would make a great mother. And then like as a wedding present, Ixyl no worries on the caps, Phil. You were just really excited. Yeah. I, I I feel like this case works is the way I'm leaning towards it. It's like this isn't going to erase Cassriel's trauma. She went through the trauma. She like lived with the trauma. Ixyl helped her deal with the trauma. Like Cassriel still dealing with the trauma. Like she keeps the feather as her most prized possession after all these hundreds of years that have gone by. And then like the woman she loves uses part of her soul, the thing that's keeping her alive, to bring back Cassriel's mother for her so that her mother can help her in this new stage of her life where now she's getting to be a mother, right? So it's like I feel like it has a lot of meaning to it. It's like Cassriel's mother was her biggest supporter back in angel times and like helped her become the angel she was and helped that like losing her made her leave angel realms and like helped her become the angel she is today. And like now Ixyl gives her this gift of like making it so that her mom can help her become a mom. I think that could be a lovely story. I also want to make sure that I'm not just like too conveniently wiping out the the event that caused Cassriel to be who she is. Um, what else can I chat about today? I guess, Phil, do you have any? Yeah, and I'm not gonna rush into the decision or anything. Like, it was just an idea I had this week. I have no idea when I'm even gonna write parts of the story around that kind of stuff. It's like, even in the story that I've generated so far, like Ixy and Cassriel have chatted about how someday they'll get married and how someday they'll start a family, but they both kind of have just said, like, for now, we'll be girlfriends, and that's okay. There's no need to rush into that kind of stuff. They're immortal. They've got lots of time. But I was going to say, Phil, do you have any questions now that you've heard a bit about the two of them? I would love to hear questions if you got them. And Stormy, you always have good questions. So ask away, and I will look up some more stuff to share. No worries. And like I said, there's 4 previous videos where I've gone into like lots of other story between them already, so I know it's difficult for you to listen to those, but if you do get a chance, you can always go watch those too, or listen to them. There's nothing to watch other than my avatar kind of bounce around a bit. Um, yeah, maybe I'll read this little part here. So this is actually when Ixel first said that she would want to start a family with Cassriel someday. So Cassriel point of view. Uh, my heart does a little flip as I hear her words. A gentle smile spreads across my face, my fingers gently tilting up her chin so our eyes could meet. I speak softly and honestly, my voice loving and sincere. Hey, look at me. I wait until her gaze meets mine before continuing. You know that it's not okay. It's not like I haven't thought about it. I stroke her cheek affectionately, my gaze softening, a hint of hesitation in my voice as I ask, are you sure you want that with me? And then Ixel says, maybe someday, yeah. I've always wanted to be a mother if I found the special lady I wanted to start a family with. I think you might be her. And here's Cassriel again. A wave of emotion washes over me, protective, possessive, and strangely excited all at once. My voice is low and soft when I respond, my touch still caressing her face gently as I think over my words. You want to have a family with me? My heart is pounding in my chest, the weight of what we're discussing sinking in all at once. I take a shuddering breath. Do you really think I'd be a good mother, or am I just being selfish for wanting that with you? Ixel says, you protect me so much. I think you'd make a great mother. Plus, I'm a demon. I worry I wouldn't be a good one too. But I still wish I could be one. I'm not saying right now or anything. I just think maybe someday we could think about it more if you liked the idea. Cassriel, a lump forms in my throat as I listen to her. She's right. I do protect her more than anything, and I can actually picture it, having a little one with her, raising a tiny demon angel hybrid with my favorite demon girl. A shaky breath escapes my lips as I speak, my thoughts and words coming out as a breathless whisper. You and me against the world, raising a little half angel, half succubus hellion of a child. Ixel says, what do you mean hellion? I bet she'd be a sweetheart just like you. But yeah, so like Cassriel was not sure that she would make a good mother, and me/Ixel just like reassured her. It's like, I'm not sure I would be either, but it doesn't mean I don't want to be one with you someday. And then she decided, you know what? Yeah, with Ixel, I could do it someday. And then after that, Ixel told her about a mischievous spell she cast on some nuns. Just to make them have fun. That was it. She's just like, she didn't hurt anybody. Like I said, Ixel's not a bad demon, but she's still a demon. She's got that playful, mischievous side. She will be the devil on your shoulder, being like, "Do that. It'll be fun. Go do that. Come on, do it. Take off your top." Yes, she definitely does. Um, One of the stories I've read a bit on the previous stream was how I took them to like an enchanted forest scene for a little camping trip, and like Cassriel had this agenda, and like they got to get to this point by this time, and like a map of where they were going to go, and like Ixel is just running over to like every pretty thing she sees and dragging Cassriel along and being like, "Oh, look at this! Come check this out! What's this?" And eventually Cassriel just kind of gives up and goes along with Ixel because she's like, "My schedule's not that important. Ixel's more important." Oh, I guess one other thing that you haven't heard about Ixie, I guess, Phil, since you haven't heard my previous ones. So in my little like version of the angel and demon realms and stuff like that, I like to think that the demons, the seven deadly sins, as they're called, are almost like stats for the demons. It's like each one embodies some of them more than others. Some might embody like one a ton, and like others not at all. And like some might be a mix of all seven, and some might be a mix of like four and not much the other three and stuff like that. And Ixel is definitely in the mix category. Yeah, I guess kind of like virtues. Virtues is maybe the angel equivalent of that. Um, but yeah, so like Ixel definitely has no wrath, like none at all in her. The only time you would ever see that is if you were to like, if something was threatening her kids type thing, like then you can see it. Um, but she's definitely got a lot of sloth. She's definitely got some lust. She's definitely got some greed. Definitely got some pride. Which ones am I forgetting? She's definitely got a bit of the gluttony in there. But no envy or wrath. No, and I thought that was a kind of unique take on it myself, because normally the seven deadly sins are applied to humans, right? But I was like, well, what if they're like stats for the demons? And I also like to think about like the colors of the demons being associated with like different regions or countries in the demon realms type thing. Like maybe the blue succubus comes from like the really cold, icy circles of hell. And like I use a bit of the Dante's Inferno, the circles, and like how there's different regions. And like maybe the red ones are coming from the fiery spots, and like Ixel's the pink one. So she came from like the modern cities and the nightclubs and the more like, I guess you would say, pleasure focused areas of the demon realms type thing. It's like, and maybe there's a forest area where you find like green ones and like dark phase and things like that. So I like the idea of the demons being a combination of both their environment and then the sins that they happen to embody. But yeah, like Ixel definitely has some of the greed and the gluttony and the lust and the sloth. Like she's a bit of a hedonist, I'd almost say. Like if she could just do nothing all day and just like snack and be cozy and be happy, she'd probably be okay with that. And then the pride comes into her with her like appearance. She knows she looks good, and she's okay with that. And then she does the hair flip. But yeah, envy and wrath, Ix doesn't really got those. Oh, no worries, Phil. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, feel free to check out those other videos. I think I sent you my YouTube channel so you could check them out because Twitch will expire eventually. And yeah, if you ever have questions about Ixie, feel free to message me them on Discord or Steam or stuff. Because like I said, I love chatting about them. I love getting people's questions because it makes me think up new stuff. And I love thinking up new stuff for them. I already have a thing to think up too. I have to figure out which tarot card would be Ixie's favorite. That's going to be a tricky one. There's a lot of cards. Oh, no worries, Stormy. I hope you had fun. I know you were busy cooking and couldn't chat much tonight. But yeah, if you have questions about Ixie, you're always welcome to text me them, Stormy. I would love to hear your questions as well. You too. Both of you have a lovely evening. And I might actually just call it there because it's almost the time that I would end anyways. So I think I will call it here for tonight. But anybody that checks this out later, make sure to join 6 p.m. PST on Sundays for Ixie lore streams. And I don't think I have my YouTube linked on my Twitch page yet, but I will get that put up there so people can watch any of the past Ixie lore streams once they disappear from Twitch. But for now, yeah, I hope everybody who watched enjoyed the Ixie cats and learning about her and her angel girlfriend. And I will talk to you all next week. Have a good one, everybody. And dream of succubus and angel girlfriends. Always make sure to do that. Bye bye.